Hey everybody, I'm Ashley with Mini Adventures. Okay, so here's my very honest review with my full experience of the premiere passes at Disney World and if it was worth the thousands upon thousands of dollars that it cost. Okay, so if you follow the channel, you know that we just took a big family trip with 14 people. We had 7 of which were kids, ranging in ages from preschool through freshman in high school. We did a 3-day, 3-park deal at Epcot Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. Now, we saved a ton of money taking advantage of this Disney deal, so we decided to splurge on the premiere passes for everyone on all 3 days. Okay, so here's the nitty-gritty of it all. First off, when we first priced this out a couple months back, the cost that it was showing for the premiere passes were much cheaper than on the days that we actually could purchase the premiere pass. So these passes, the price does change daily. You cannot purchase this unless you are 7 days out from your stay if you're staying on Disney property, and 3 days out if you're staying off Disney property. And we ran into some issues with our purchasing window because we had people that had a day-based ticket in our party, and then we had some of our party that had annual passes. So I did a video on this previously, and I'll link that in the comments below to help you avoid any of these booking troubles that we had. So go back and check that video out. Okay, so after 4 days of waking up and getting up, we had to 4 days of waking up at 7 a.m., purchasing everyone's premiere pass day after day after day because of our booking troubles. We ended up securing everyone in our party a premiere pass. And now it's time to travel to Orlando, hit the parks, and put these passes to the test. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that when I purchased these premiere passes, I knew that I was purchasing not a skip to the front of the line, but rather a skip most of the line type of a pass. The way that Disney does their lightning lanes is that there is a standby queue and then there's the lightning lane. And both of these lanes will meet up closer to the boarding area or entering the attraction. And then when they meet up, then everyone waits in that line together until you're able to board. The lightning lane that we waited in is also the same lightning lane that people with the multi-pass wait in and the people with DAS passes wait in also. So that's important to know. We knew that going into this. We also knew that we were going to have a tough time trying to navigate such a large group through the park with a wide range of must-dos and goals for the trip, and it was going to be extremely challenging to accomplish it all or even get close to it. Scheduling the multi-passes would also have been challenging because everyone would have had a different idea of like what we should book next and what our day setup should look like. And we also had some in our group that did not want to stay from open to close in the park. They wanted to knock it out and go and do something else in the day. So I knew that we wanted this to be a stress-free trip, and we wanted to all move through the park together and not split up and not have to be on our phone all day and trying to book lightning lanes and being in conflict with each other about what lightning lane should be next. So for all of these reasons, we splurged and decided to go for the premiere pass. Now, do I think that we got our money's worth out of the premiere pass for this particular trip with these specific goals in mind to move through the park together, to not bounce around, to knock out every ride, and to not have the stress of trying to snag lightning lanes and it stretching through an open to close park day? Yes, it was absolutely worth it. And if I had to do it over again, I'd buy it again for us. But will I buy this for just my family of 3 when we go or our family of 5 when my parents join? Yeah, no. We go so often that this is something that if there's something that we didn't get to do or something that we didn't get to ride, we'll just catch it on the next trip when we come back. So the value just isn't there on the other trips that we take. And you can accomplish the same amount of rides using your Lightning Lane multi-pass and single passes if you use some of our tips and strategies that we offer from our mini adventure agents. You will also, you'll be on your phone a lot throughout the day and you will have to bounce around a little bit, and it is going to take more hours in your day to accomplish this, but you will save thousands upon thousands of dollars going this route instead of doing the premiere pass. So how much did all of this cost? So we purchased the 3-day 3-park park tickets for 10 people because, like I said, some of our people had annual passes. So the total cost of just the tickets was a little over $2,600. Then for the Premier Pass, it was an additional $11,000 before tax. So together, everything came to just under $14,000 for all of us to go into the parks and use Premier Passes. Now, what I wish Premier Pass would have for this value is a skip the line to the front of the line service. You know, it cracked me up because a few times, some like my nephews in the party, they were like, so much for a Premier Pass when we were stuck waiting in the line in the Lightning Lane, because sometimes the Lightning Lanes kind of were longer. And, you know, they didn't realize that both of the lines were going to be merging up. So that was a little disappointing, I think, through their eyes. So I think one thing to keep in mind is a disappointment lives in the gap between your expectations and reality. And I think that this is true not just with the Premier Passes, but with all aspects of a Disney vacation. I think that sometimes people feel disappointed or their trip is ruined if they have an expectation in their mind and the reality falls short of that. One of the things that we do with Many Adventures is to give you the best tips, strategies, and expectations to set you up and your trip up for success. We don't want to fill you with all these promises of an unrealistic day that's going to leave you feeling disappointed. We want you to be equipped with everything that you need to know and how to achieve that to help you have the most magical vacation ever. So, for the most part, I feel like we entered into our Premier Passes with a very accurate expectation. I think that, you know, like I said, a couple of the kids thought, you know, I thought we had Premier Passes. I don't know why we're still even waiting in any line, which, to be fair, that's how I feel the Premier Passes should work, but knowing that it didn't work like that helped to avoid disappointment. I think if the Premier Pass were outside of our budget and we weren't able to do it, I think we would have been able to have had just as much fun. It just wouldn't quite have been as convenient, and then there would have been some sacrifices to have made. But we had budgeted for this, so we didn't have to make any sacrifices, and we just wanted to go through and knock things out. So we had a wonderful time. We really enjoyed our Premier Passes. We would recommend this for other large families going, or even smaller families if they want the convenience of this. We also recognize that this does not fit within everybody's budget, and there are other ways to do Disney. We have done Disney up big time and done it bougie style, and we have done Disney on a dime, and we have had a magical experience both ways. So I definitely think if you are looking to purchase the Premier Pass and it's within your budget, it's important to go into this with realistic expectations. Otherwise, you will have some disappointment. I think if Premier Pass is not in your budget, that's okay. And there are other ways that you can make the most of your day and knock out everything. There's just a few things you need to be prepared for, and you need to adjust your expectations so that you don't have disappointment either. Okay, now, if both of those passes are not within your budget to use, and the single pass is not within your budget to use, there are other strategies that can be implemented in your day to help you knock out a majority of the things. And you may be able to look at other things like maybe doing a longer stay and stretching it out and doing multiple days rather than trying to cram everything into the one day at that particular park. Some people have used park hopper strategies and things like that. So there's a lot more options that are out there. This is just my review of the Premier Pass and what we experienced. We were able to knock out everything that we wanted to do. We were able to go through and do every ride and attraction that was on our list, and we were able to finish the park up, and we were in the middle of that Florida summer heat, and we didn't want to spend all day at the park. We wanted to be able to go back and enjoy our resort and swim and to be able to do other things. And for us, it was great. We had a wonderful time, and we had a vacation that really exceeded our expectations. It was so fun, and it was memories that would last forever. And ultimately, that's why we're doing all of this. That's where the real magic is in your memories that you make. And we're here to help make sure that you guys have the most magical vacation ever. So reach out to a Many Adventures advisor if you are looking to plan a Disney vacation, and we would be happy to help.